Hello, I'm Christina Skinner, registered dietitian with Nourish for the Love of Food. And today I'm going to go over two examples of just a little bit of a sweet, whether it's a snack or a treat or whatever you need. So we're going to start with cinnamon tortillas first. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab some form of whole wheat tortilla. So whatever brand, maybe your preferences. I tend to look for ones that have fewer ingredients. I know Sam's Club has a really good one that's a high fiber. It's got some flax in there. So find whatever tortilla suits you best. So you're going to get that. You're going to cut it into, oh, let me move my screen down so you can see me cutting. Okay, so you're going to cut it in to eighths, basically. So you're going to do kind of like a pizza. Okay, so you're going to get it ready like that. And then you're going to take a baking sheet and you're going to use, I prefer avocado oil because it has a higher smoke temp. So it's not going to fill your kitchen with a lot of smoke. And it's just definitely a higher quality oil in general. So you want to be doing either avocado oil or olive oil just for overall health. But what you're going to do is you're going to spray a baking sheet. And then you're going to go ahead and lay your little tortilla triangles onto your baking sheet. So once you get those laid on there, so here we go. You're going to go ahead and spray the top of them with the spray. And then to make them sweet, we're actually going to do a little bit of coconut sugar. So this is something, again, you can kind of, depending on preference, you could do, if you had like a Truvia blend or a stevia powder, something like that would work as well. If you wanted to do regular sugar, we're not really doing a lot. So we're just going to basically cover each one with a little bit of sugar. What's kind of fun about the coconut sugar is it's obviously more of a brown color, so you can see how much you've put on. Whereas if you're doing like a cane sugar, obviously it's white, so it's a little bit harder. But it does, honestly, I like the coconut sugar. I feel like it gives it a good flavor of that coconut and then a little bit of sweet as well. So you can put on as much of that as you'd like. Honestly, coconut sugar is more and more prevalent in the grocery stores. I just got this one at Walmart, but you can see on the top it's labeled organic. And then after you get that on there, then you're just going to sprinkle some straight up cinnamon, and it's going to be, again, to your preference. If you really like cinnamon, you can do more, however much you want. And obviously you can do a bigger batch of this. This is just one tortilla. So that would be about one serving. But if you had more people, you could do more. And then you're just going to pop this in the oven, 350 to 375 for 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those into the oven. And then I actually have some that I already prepared ahead of time so you guys can see. They actually turn out to be quite crispy. So they make for a really yummy snack. You can dip these in yogurt. You can dip them in cottage cheese. You could eat them plain, but maybe a more of a healthy version versus going to a cookie or a treat or even a chip kind of thing. Okay, so that is a number one. Now, the second option, we're keeping things really, really simple. But I know a lot of times people, they want more fruit in their diet, they want more fiber, but they just get over having just the typical apple and they're wanting something a little bit different. So I went ahead and we're just going to do some cinnamon apple slices. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead. So make sure you wash your apple and get it ready before you're doing this. If you have a peeler, ooh, look at there. I left the peel on. So make sure you get the peel off, okay? But then you can go ahead and just slice it however you want, however big you want, etc. If you cut it smaller, you're going to have more surface area for that cinnamon to catch. But if you leave it bigger, then obviously it's a little bit easier to handle. So I'm going to just show you both. So if you leave them sliced versus if you just dice them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just throw these into my bowl here. Okay, so we got those, and then we have the bigger slices. So basically, you're literally just taking cinnamon again, like we did with the tortillas, and you're gonna just put that over. Now, if you're gonna eat the diced ones, you're gonna obviously need a fork of sorts, but with the slice, you can just pour it on there. And again, this is a preference with how much cinnamon you like. I honestly love cinnamon, so I will like really go to town on that. But you can see because we have more surface area on these little diced ones, they're able to get a little bit more per bite. So again, just another fun snack. If any of you had watched my cottage cheese one before, this is another great way you could throw a dollop of cottage cheese or yogurt on something like this as well, and it makes it to be a really yummy snack. So hopefully this helps with something if you're wanting something sweet that's still in the health space.